www.healthcmi.com, Acupuncture Continuing Education Online. Today, let's do a brief commentary on some research, acupuncture and herbs for the treatment of tinnitus, ear ringing. So ear ringing can appear as or be perceived as kind of a hissing sound or a loud ringing tone. It has many presentations. It can be a clicking, a buzzing, a knocking sound, or a high or low pitch. In some cases, a loud roaring sound or hissing. In traditional Chinese medicine, we say excess conditions tend to be high-pitched tones and low-pitched tones tend to be associated with deficiency. In some recent research published at healthcmi.com, just visit the news section and read the results and the exact acupuncture points and herbal formulas. The study was entitled Clinical Study on the Effects of Combined Acupuncture and TCM Decoction on Sudden Tinnitus and Deafness. That article notes that out of 100 patients selected, and they were put into two groups comparing acupuncture plus herbs or just acupuncture, that a combination protocol produced an 88% total effective rate for the alleviation of tinnitus and 68% for just using herbs only, suggesting that acupuncture greatly enhances the efficacy of the treatment protocol. Again, yes, tinnitus can also be pronounced tinnitus. They're both correct. So in that study, it was extremely aggressive. They were using Ma Huang, Shi Xin, and Fuzi combined with Shengjiang, so ginger. This is a very warming, very strong formula. It's definitely not appropriate for every patient. I only recommend consumption of this formula for patients receiving a prescription from a licensed acupuncturist trained in how to use something this powerful. Can't be underestimated how powerful it is. We can't say, oh, it's natural and it's herbal, therefore it's okay. It can be just as strong as any medication or anything else we can find in this world in terms of its strength, and its appropriateness must be selected very carefully by a practitioner. So using Ma Huang Fu Zi Shi Xin Tang in this study is quite a potent choice. We say in Chinese medicine it's very warming. So if someone's already running hot, or we have some other conditions in Chinese medicine that are warming conditions or yang uprising, it could worsen the condition. Here in the pre-selection process, people fit into this paradigm where Ma Huang Fu Zi Shi Xin Tang is appropriate. Again, that's chosen by a very well-trained team focusing on the treatment of tinnitus. And they combined that with acupuncture, and they tried it alone. And sure enough, they got some great results. Again, they were treating patients what we say had a cold-induced tinnitus, exposure to cold. That can be externally or from internal exhaustion, and combined with liver qi stagnation. So that study, while very aggressive, is really only appropriate for certain patients fitting that differential diagnostic pattern. So it's not like we can just tell consumers to go to a store and consume that formula. In fact, the herbs are so strong, in many cases they're restricted and people cannot even get access to those herbs. In some ways that's appropriate, in that we wouldn't want people taking these herbs without knowing how to use them. So another study was released a while back entitled Acupuncture Quiets Tinnitus, and you can just go to healthcmi.com, click on the news link at the top of the page, look for Acupuncture Quiets Tinnitus, and that study, published on February 15th, 2016, came from the Central Hospital in Chaoyang City. Now that head and neck surgery section of the hospital decided to go ahead and give acupuncture treatments and had phenomenal results. And they had an 80% total effective rate using acupuncture only. A nice protocol of some classic acupuncture points. They compared actually two acupuncture protocols. One achieved an 80% total effective rate, and another had only a 50% total effective rate. And again, total effective rates do not necessarily mean curative rates. They do mean efficaciousness. And there's another study that is reviewed there that achieved a 91% total effective rate. And that was for people with long-standing tinnitus. So I really recommend taking a look at that, how that was achieved. That used a little moxibustion, which is a warming technique with herbs as well. So warming the channels does play an important role in cases of tinnitus, but how much and to what degree is really very important when choosing a correct clinical protocol. That article, Acupuncture Quiets Tinnitus, when you click on the news link to see all news articles at healthcmi.com, when you click on the news link at the top of all the news article lists, you'll see a little link. View all news articles. You can click on that and search through any title on the page. That article really outlines some 3 basic approaches for an acupuncturist. Great formula point prescriptions. And I don't think there's a lot of surprises for the basic prescriptions, because some of the classic acupuncture points that we expect to find there are there, like Qigong, small intestine 19, for example. A very important point. And Yi Ming, which is an extra point. Now, Yi Ming is particularly effective, along with Man Sanjiao 21. So there's a lot there. Take a look at that. I should mention, and this is very importantly for acupuncturists, and it's a little less standard, that the first study I spoke about does include 2 master tongue acupuncture points, one Shun Yi and one Shun So in the master tongue system, that would be acupuncture point 22.08 and acupuncture point 22.09. So that's interesting. In addition to things like triple burner 21 Erman or small intestine 19 Qigong, GB2 Tinghui. I mean, this is what we come to expect. Triple burner 17 Yifeng. These are classic points that we expect to see, and we see the master tongue points added there for a little strength, a little added efficacy. So take a look at that again. I hope everyone seeks some care for tinnitus. It can be a very distracting and problematic condition, and it's nice to at least give it a shot. But I will say that in general within Chinese medicine, this is a very pernicious, sometimes intractable disorder that even with the best of care may only diminish slightly. So it's something to keep in mind, that acupuncture herbal medicine isn't necessarily holding out a curative rate for this, but something that can help or improve the condition potentially, but that even within the traditional Chinese medicine system, oftentimes it is very difficult to treat. And there are definitely times where it can be eliminated entirely, but again, I would not say this is something very straightforward. You know, within traditional Chinese medicine, treating something like a simple case of carpal tunnel syndrome really is standard, and one can expect complete resolution of the condition. But when we talk about tinnitus, we're talking about something that is much more difficult to treat. So it's definitely one where people may need several treatments over a course of time to really get at it, as opposed to something a little easier to treat. I would definitely not rate this, regardless of any study, as a simple treatment, but one that's important. Thank you for listening. Take a look at www.healthcmi.com.